the TV show. It is just that, it's a TV show. Rumours speculate every day about people and whatnot, but I do think that, you know, you should get to know the people that you're watching personally, and you should have an insight into why they are how they are. You know, obviously I was portrayed in a way that came across as quite abrupt, quite rude. I guess everyone kind of would have had the presumption that I was entitled. You know, I didn't work for what I got. I guess the fact that, you know, I live this perfect life. But I can assure you, I probably go to bed most nights and cry more than normal people. You know, the reason I am where I am is not, you know, it's not a beautiful miracle. It's not this beautiful story, you know. It's because I've lost people. I've lost important people in my life. I'm not blessed. I'm not lucky. I'm not entitled. I have nice things. But god damn it, it does not mean I'm happy. I'm not happy. I would give away every single handbag I have. I would give away my car. I would give away anything just to make sure my kids were happy, or to have my brother back, or to see my dad, or anything, you know. I think my friends and family can vouch that I'm very loyal, I'm very honest, I'm very loving, I'm very giving. You know, there's people I've known that have gone through hardship and I've donated money to them, you know, when I've had it and I know they haven't had it. And they're not even, you know, I wouldn't even consider them friends. I am a very good person, regardless of what you might have seen, regardless of what you might think of me. But I just want to give you an insight into why, you know, I am why I am, and where like how I got to this position where I am right now. When I was younger, I grew up with my mum, my sister, my brother, and then I had a half sister. My mum raised us on her own. I didn't know where my dad was. She didn't stay with my half sister's father. She's younger than me. So my mum was single and still is to this day, ever since. She worked 2 jobs to provide for us while we're at school, and then she'd come home and quickly cook us dinner, and then we'd be babysat, and she'd work night shifts. My sister did so much. She was 6 years older than me, so she done heaps for us. She used to babysit us for my mum and help us do chores and our homework and stuff like that. Really, we were really close. We were a good family. I didn't know where my dad was. I didn't really ask my mum until I think I started primary school, and I was like, Mum, where is my dad? Like, is he working? Is he away? And then I thought maybe he's in jail or something. I just started thinking weird things, and I was like, something's, you know, not right. And then every time I would broach it with my mum, she would just shut down and she would start crying, and then she'd just go to the other room or something. And I was just so confused, so I stopped asking her because, you know, I didn't want to see her like that, in that state. And then it got to a point where I asked my sister, and then I think I was old enough for my sister to tell me. So when I was 1, my dad actually, he killed himself on New Year's Day. To me, hearing that was like automatic guilt. I blamed myself. I was thinking, and I used to lay in bed and I used to think, am I the reason? Like, did he not want me? Did he not love me? I was a baby, you know, obviously I was just born. I had a lot of guilt and I didn't know. And, you know, I said to my mum further down the track, and I was like, you know, it wasn't my fault. Did he love me? And she said, don't be ridiculous, you know, he had his own problems going on. Obviously what happened with my dad hugely impacted my sister and my brother. My brother's 2 years older than me, my sister's 6 years older than me. They do have memories with him. I don't. Doesn't mean I don't care. I am still impacted through the impact it had on my mum and my sister and my brother. My mum is so emotionally unstable. I worry about her every single day. My sister is so emotionally damaged and shut off from the world. Yeah, and I remember even my brother going through school and stuff, he was very socially awkward. He didn't like to be around people, he didn't like to talk about his life, he was very shut off, you know, and all these things kind of impacted from my father. I do believe, you know, I'm no expert in the area, but you know, it's common knowledge that there is something significantly missing, and I do believe a father is a huge role model in a child's life, which is why, you know, my kid's father is so blessed to have him. He is such a good role model for them. He is the best dad for them, and I will never take my children's father away from them. I think growing up without a father is so damaging. You start thinking that you don't need a man. You start thinking you can do everything on your own. You see men as, you know, unreliable, letdowns, can't trust them. I think this impacted me emotionally as well quite a lot, and I always said, you know, I don't want to be alone. Like, as much as, you know, I can see my mum, she's so successful now. She's built, she's saved, she's done so well with her life. And I just think, you know, that while I admire her and I love her so much, she's the most admirable person you'll ever meet. She's like super mum. You know, I always wanted a partner. I always wanted to be with someone. I always wanted that home life with the kids and the father and the mum. And then obviously, you know, regardless of my mum's situation, she always made sure we had everything we wanted. She made sure we always went to school, we did our homework, we strived to do our best. You know, I remember coming home and someone had brought a straightener at school, and I was like, Mum, like, I really want a straightener. And she was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to save for it. So we saved for it and I got a straightener. I was so happy. I remember getting my sister's hand-me-down shoes, and they were the coolest things ever. You know, my mum obviously had money in a trust for me, obviously for when I was older, from my dad. He was quite high up in the mining industry, and you know, he was quite successful. My mum used to buy a house and then put the rest in trust for us. You know, that money is nothing. That is nothing, you know. You would throw that in the bin to get that person back. I didn't know him, but I would throw it in the bin just to even talk to him, just to even ask him what was going through his mind and why he would leave us so hurt and damaged. You know, as much as I feel sorry for what he was going through at the time to do what he did, I also sit back and think, you know, I can't believe you've left this huge impact on my sister. She has so many memories with you, so many memories. My mum was so in love with you. They'll never be the same. I know time heals all wounds, but I'm telling you, when you lose someone you love, you will never be the same. You just need to find someone who will love you and accept you for what has happened and the reason why you are how you are. Okay, so then I went to high school. I started high school. I went to a private school. I was very lucky. My mum, you know, she kind of, if we wanted to do something or go somewhere, she'd let us. Went to a private school. I was bullied. I was put down, you know, I was told I had a big nose. I was told I was too skinny. They used to say things about my mum. I don't know why. My house used to get egged. I was traumatized. I used to get prank calls and stuff. I was in year 8. I was so innocent. I was so scared. It was, oh my God. That there was the turning point in my life, which is how it made me why I am how I am. I think that was the start of it. That was the start of it. Someone created a monster. Not a good one, and I can look back now and I admit to it. I was pushed against lockers. I was you know, I used to get followed home. I used to get picked on. I was crying. I I was stalked, I was got threats, got told that not to come to school otherwise I would get bashed. I was so self-conscious. I remember wearing makeup to this private school and they would make me wash my makeup off in front of everyone because we weren't allowed to wear makeup, and I was just crying and I wanted to go home. I didn't want to be there. Eventually my mum, we made a complaint to the principal. He apparently looked into it, not much came of it, so I moved schools. I went to a public school, and at this point I had grown this big thick skin. I went to this public school and I was like, I'm not letting anyone treat me like that again. I'm not. You know, I don't deserve it. I never have. I'm actually a really good friend. I'm really loyal. So I went into this public school and I ended up becoming the bully. I was the monster. These people created a monster. And I look back now and I thought, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed, you know. I let the demons take over in my head, you know. I let them win. I let the bullies win. You should always stay pure in a really rough, cold world, in an evil world. You should always try and stay pure. I didn't. I went on a rampage. I went, you know, I was going to parties. I don't know, I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. And I remember I had a few friends, I had a couple of friends, but not many close ones. I ended up studying from home all through the public school, all through to year 12. I would take my homework home and I would study from home. I would only attend school when I had to. I didn't like socializing. I didn't like dealing with people. I was at a point in my life where if someone said something wrong or I thought they were being rude, I would automatically be in fight mode, like, excuse me, what did you say? What do you mean? And you would have seen a lot of that on the show. It just comes up. And it is something that, it only comes out when I'm in really bad situations and I'm surrounded by people who aren't positive. It's toxic people. And I'm so embarrassed. So I didn't attend school, but I ended up graduating year 12 with an 8 out of 98. I got guaranteed entry into law school. I started law school. I moved out into a townhouse with my mum, which she rented out to us. She owned it. My brother and I paid rent. I worked part-time as a waitress at a cafe and studied. And then I met my children's father. I was very young. Had just started law school. Things moved so quickly. I can't even explain that period of my life. It was like, met him, fell in love with him, got pregnant, you know, broke it to my mum. She was so upset at first. I remember I was so scared. Her main thing was like, you need to finish your law degree. Like, you know, this is something you could have done later on, and I get that. And I did. You know what? I promised her. I was like, Mum, I assure you, regardless of me having children or not right now, I'm going to finish my law degree. I did. I went to school pregnant, I went to law school heavily pregnant. I was doing roots pregnant. I had morning sickness. I had Bell's palsy. I had fluid retention. What else? I ended up getting shingles from stress. I had the worst pregnancy. And my partner at the time, the kid's dad, he had to go away for business. So I was alone at this time. I was so alone. And I remember he was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, the baby. I put on 25 kilos. So when I fell pregnant, I was 49 kilos. I put 20 kilos on with this child. And I remember this one day I woke up, you know, my partner wasn't there, and I felt really depressed. I woke up and I think I was crying. I was crying. I didn't leave my bed. I didn't leave the bed. My girlfriend checked in from uni that I met. She's now my best friend. She's the most loyal person and I love her to death. She's the godmother of my children as well. she messaged me and she said, come over, you shouldn't be alone, you shouldn't. So I dragged myself out of bed. I'm pretty sure I had trackies on and probably slides or slippers. I went to her house and I was just sitting there, I was venting to her. I was just like, he's not coming, he's due today, he's not coming. I'm so upset, I just want him to come. I'm really excited to meet him. I got a phone call. My mum rang me. I answered and I was like, hello? And she was like, your brother's dead. In those exact words. I was like, wait, are you joking? Like, stop, it's not funny. Like, that's not funny, Mum. Stop. And she's like, I'm not. And then I could hear her breathing. And then she started crying and then she hung up on me and I went into shock. You need to understand, first of all, my brother was my father figure. He didn't like the fact that I was pregnant. He was so protective of me. He would have done anything for me. He was my best friend. We went to Malaysia together just before I got pregnant. I rang my brother straight after my mum hung up. It went straight to voice message. I kept ringing, straight to voice message. I sat down and my friend was like, what's going on? I said, I think my brother's dead. And she automatically just took over and she was like, get in the car, let's go see your mum. And I was like, yeah, we've got to see my mum, we've got to go see my mum. She can't deal with this, I know my mum. She can't have this on her plate. She's gone through enough. She has lost my father. This is her only son. Please don't be true, don't be true. I get to my mum's house. There's police there. My brother's friends are there. Everyone's crying, like, everyone's crying. I think I was in shock. I was just looking around and I was like, and my mum couldn't really talk or deal with the police. And so we had to try and locate like where he was and what happened. So I did all that for her. One thing you need to understand about me is I am not selfish. I look selfish, I look entitled, I get it. I'm not. I put up a wall. I put the grief, I grabbed it. Everything that I was feeling, I wanted to fall apart. I wanted to fall apart so bad. I wanted to give up. I wanted to give up on life. I think there was a point where I was like, just take me instead. Don't take him, take me. I told my mum to move in with me temporarily at my partner's house. I went straight to the hospital. Obviously, the trauma and the stress, everyone was suggesting to get the baby checked out. He was due that day. That was his due day. Shortly after he got induced, and while he was induced and I was going through all that, I was arranging and while I was induced and sorting all that out, I was actually going through organising my brother's funeral. I paid for it. Well, I paid some of it for my mum. I wrote my eulogy. I read the eulogy for my mum on behalf of my mum. She was just... she couldn't. And I get it. I get it. I have 2 kids now. I get it. I have 2 sons. You know? I couldn't imagine losing them. Not for 1 minute. So at my brother's funeral, my baby was there, my firstborn. I just had him. I actually called him Costa Jamie. So he's got my brother as his middle name. And I always sit back and think, you know, once again, is it my fault that he's gone? You know, they say you lose a life, you gain another one. I had so much guilt, you know. I was smiling, I was happy. I had this beautiful boy, this beautiful, beautiful, perfect baby. And my mum was just in her room crying every night. I could hear her crying every night from my room for months. Every night. I don't know what that did to me, but no one should have to go through that. No one. And then, you know, obviously from there, I went straight back into uni. I continued my law degree. I studied full-time. I had my newborn and I still studied full-time from home while I was looking after my mum. I just had to make sure she was eating, she was going to the gym and stuff like that. There was even a point where I was thinking in my head, I don't deserve to eat, you know, he's not even here, why do I deserve to eat? You know, you just think these crazy things in your head, like, I don't deserve this child, you know, like he didn't get to have children. You just start thinking crazy things. I finished my law degree. I graduated, and then I went in to do the practicing certificate so I could get admitted to the bar. I then fell pregnant with my second son. This was planned because I had such a traumatizing first pregnancy, to the point where my muscles in my stomach were separated 3-4 centimeters and had intestines showing. I had no core strength at all. So for me to get that fixed, I needed to finish having children. I had my second son, I fell pregnant to him. I continued doing the practicing certificate. I finished it. I got admitted to the bar. I then had my second son, who was beautiful. I am now, you know, assigned solicitor barrister acknowledged in South Australia on the roll. You know, I just see my kids, I look at them and I see my brother. It is such a hard situation. I see my brother, I see the traits, I see the personality, I can see the way my youngest one looks just like him. Life is not fair. It's not fair, and anyone who tells you that life is great and they have a very simple and lovely life, lucky you. Lucky you. I have handbags. That's something that I do when I'm sad. I'll go buy a handbag. Instead of going out drinking, instead of going out partying, I will go buy a handbag or a pair of shoes. You know, it's a quick solve. It doesn't fix everything, you know. There was a point I was on antidepressants for quite some time after my brother died. I had to shut off, you know, I had to be strong for my mum. I was the only one that was there. I was the only one my brother was really close to. I had to shut off for my mum. I sorted everything out for her. I had to be strong. If she saw me weak, if she saw me crumble, you know, that's the last thing she needed. I had to be there for her. She was there for me my whole life. She gave me everything I needed, everything I wanted in life. She's the reason I am where I am today. You know, I have nice things, but it's at the cost of losing the people I love, you know. I've had money distributed to me from a trust. It's just so disgusting how life works, and I don't know why people get dealt with certain cards or have to be given this life, you know. I'm not sure, but I do think it is why I am how I am today. I'm at a point where, you know, I don't have time or tolerance for people who I feel won't impact my life positively. I need someone who's going to be there for me emotionally and to support me emotionally, like I have my mother, my children. You know, I was there with my brother. I don't have time for people who don't love me unconditionally, who don't love my flaws, which do include, you know, breaking down now and then, hating the world now and then. I do have days where I just hate everyone. I don't want to leave the house. I'm miserable. I don't like socializing. I'll shut off. I will be emotionally unavailable when people think that it's a sign of me being stuck up. Absolutely not. I don't like being touched. I get very emotionally closed. You know, I didn't really get that love when I was younger that normal people did from their parents. You know, my mum was going through her own stuff at the time, obviously grieving and all that. But I make sure that I give my children 110% my love. I wake up every morning, I'll tell them how much I love them, how beautiful they are, how smart they are, how special they are. I take them to visit my brother. I tell them who he is and how much he would love them, how much he would love how mean they are to me. You know, I think people just look at you and think, you know, you're so entitled, you just have a great life, you know, you don't deserve it, you probably, you know, I've heard rumours that I'm a cheater and all this stuff. I'd love to know the time where I get to cheat. I have my children all the time. I love my children. Even when I don't have them, I'm hanging out with my friends and then I miss them. I'll FaceTime them all the time. People just have got to stop being nasty in society, and you know, people need to understand why people are how they are. I call people out on their bullshit straight away, all the time, because I don't have time for it. You know, I've been bullied my whole life. I've been let down. I've lost everything. I've lost everything. My mum is still emotionally shut off. She's here, and she's beautiful and she's supportive, but she's not emotionally there. I feel so alone. I feel so alone. So when I get people, you know, who say things or dig at me about certain things, I just think, you don't know me, you don't know what I've been through, how dare you. And that's why I've got 5 friends or something, and you know, I tell them everything and they love me. They know exactly, they were there at his funeral, they were there for me, they've helped me with my babies, you know, they've helped me with my breakups, they've just, you know, as much as, you know, my children's partner and I didn't work out, he was there for me, you know. He was good to me, he was pretty good to me. We just didn't get along. You know, I had a hard breakup. You try and stick around for the kids, you know, obviously you love them so much and you want that happy home with a white picket fence. It's not reality. Sometimes you're better off as friends, which is what we've both realised. So, you know, you've seen me yelling, you've seen me angry, you've seen me break down in tears. I am so emotionally unstable sometimes because I have so much going through my head, you know. So many things remind me of situations I've had in my life, you know, being picked on and losing people, not being able to trust people, being cheated on before. I don't tolerate it. I have zero tolerance for it. You know, the fact that there is a cheating rumor about me is disgusting. I don't tolerate that. I would like to set an example for my children to never do that to a woman, ever. Yeah. I guess it's hard, you know, coming back from all that trauma and being able to be normal. I am getting better though, you know. I feel like every year as I get older I'm learning to process things and I'm learning to understand why people do certain things in life and why people treat people a certain way, and it's a reflection of how they're feeling, you know.